Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for Mr. Amer Jaleel, the Group CCO and Chairman, MullenLowe Lintas, who will deliver the keynote address. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Amer Jaleel. Even if I say, like a normal person will ask me my name and I say, so if somebody asks me my name, I just say Amer. And then I look where they're writing, and everybody writes Amir or Amer or Amar. Or if they don't, if they get the first name right, then definitely they'll call me Jalal. Or even worse, actually, Zaleel. So all those guys on the phone, they call me and they're like, am I speaking to Amer Jaleel or Amer Jaleel? And I'm like, can you say jam? Do you know what jam is? Jam is with a J. My name is with a J. How can it be Jaleel? Anyway, I'm Amer Jaleel. I work with Lintas. I'm a product of Lintas, actually. So in that sense, I carry the brand with me, Ad agencies, at many forums I've seen, they talk about brands, but they never refer to an advertising agency as a brand, If there is we are standing in the building which houses an agency brand, that's Ogilvy right here, and we are Lintas, and if there's a brand in the country that's known for, for marketing, advertising, consultancy, great work, creative work, then we are a brand. Lintas is a brand, and I'm a product of that brand. I'm really proud to be here, really proud to represent Lintas. And full disclosure, actually, I have not created a piece of branded content in my life. So I don't know if I can really, speak at this forum, but I've been invited. Thank you to Indian Television, BrandVid. Thank you for having me. I say this, genuinely, actually, because, we interact with our clients all the time, and, we are talking, we are saying things to them. But there's always this slight professional, courtesy that you always engage in with a client. They say things to you and they can't say things to you. We can say things to a client and we can't say things to a client. And that dailiness, is different. And stopping, collecting thoughts, and being able to speak, your mind at a forum like this, that's different, It opens you up a little bit more. You're able to say, your mind fully, what's going on in your mind, and like I said, genuinely for that, thank you. Thank you for letting me air, some content and some discontent. So in advertising, I found that two sort of personal traits influence my career. One is, somewhat like as a young person, I was in school. I was quite direct and quite lucid, actually. And I found that this was not a great strategy. Being direct is not a great strategy in school, because they are expecting like a 4-page answer to a question, and I really couldn't do anything beyond half a page. So this kind of, they wanted like an introduction, a body, there needed to be a quote from a famous person in an answer, and stuff like that. I really couldn't do things like that. And I found that, when I came to advertising, this direct approach or this shortening of a huge thing helped me, because advertising is like that, right? Advertising, Brands need you to be short, quick. They need you to tell the story quickly and directly, and that's great, So that, in some sense, was great for me. And during the same time, around the age of 13, 14, when you're growing up, things are happening to you. I found that I had another quality, which, while it was in complete contrast with my directness, also influenced my formative years in advertising. And that actually was my approach with girls, like when you're 14 years old, 15 years old, and you like somebody, like you want to approach that person. And I found that, like, I used to, like, freeze. I could never go up to a girl, talk to her, tell her what I felt, or even just be like a hi, hello. And I used to wonder, like, is it fear? Is it nervousness? Did you have that, Sandeep? Never. But yeah, I never could do it. I just could not approach. And at some point I realized that it was not really about nervousness or fear or anything of that sort. It was actually, that, see, the moment you think of, like, approaching a girl, or you're going up to her, or, saying things to her, like, I felt like I was being obvious, like, how do you go to a girl and say that, like, actually, we should be going out on a date or something, or something of that sort, right? Or I want to kiss you, probably. Because that's what you felt the most overpowering urge for. But that's too direct, right? And nobody actually likes direct stuff. Nobody likes that approach of directness. Nobody likes obviousness. You need to have this craft of not being so obvious. You just need to, like, sashay up to somebody and get their attention, talk to them in this beautiful sort of suave sort of way, and not be obvious, right? And I could not have that directness in me. But I found that because anything that I tried seemed so obvious to me, that not being obvious was like a quality that I had. And that quality also helped me in advertising, because, like, I realized when I, like, walked into advertising that, nobody wants to be obvious in advertising, at least largely. But so I was doomed with the ladies, but somehow I got a leg up, in the communication business, because of this idea of mine of not being obvious. And today we are in the era of, the top left corner of every screen needs to have the brand logo. I mean, it's gone, right? All the beautiful approach, all the subtlety, everything is gone. It's like a slap straight in the face saying, look at me, I am a piece of branded content, I'm a piece of advertising. I will sit on the left of top corner of this screen, and you got to, like, sort of make note of me. Everybody, it seems, wants to be obvious nowadays. And this sort of, I know where that's coming from. It's like this insecurity of clutter. But this insecurity of clutter is going to work sort of against itself, right? The more you try to be, the more you are insecure about clutter, the more you try to be direct and obvious, the more it's going to add to clutter. It's going to work against itself. I feel that, this fuzziness Fuzziness somewhere in brand work was good. Fuzziness is going and directness is coming. And although I may, like I'm hit on the head every time and I've been told that it's millennials. And everybody needs to be working for the millennials. Everybody needs to be thinking for the millennials all the time, right? And I feel that people say that, millennials are these guys who are born into, the digital world. They have a different way of thinking and things like that. But I say that millennials are also born into a huge amount of clutter. And more importantly, they are born into a very evolved style of messaging, actually. They don't want this straightforward, direct sort of thing hitting them in their face. So I think I want to propose that the more obscure, the better. The more random, the more slanted, the more clever, the better. All the work that we are going to go forward with in branded content or in communications business or anything, I think they don't want to see the work coming at them. They want it to somewhere be just invisible in some sense, not so obvious. And again, we fall prey to the little things that we try and they work. So as an industry, we are now hell-bent on making the nation cry. We've discovered that social CSR, social angles, emotional messages, like people initially gravitated towards this, and it was good. But you can't you can't churn out thousands of videos all the time and sort of target people's water ducts all the time. That's not going to work. So I think this sort of veritable clone fest of emotional work, let's kill it. I don't know if we can, but we should. I want to say something because I need to about branded content. And I say that, Tata Memorial Cancer Hospital is content. I don't know whether we ever saw it like that, but it is, right? I think when you talk about content, it has to be true. The first thing about content has to be that it's true. It can't be created for a video, man. Tata Cancer Hospital is not created for a video. It's true, it's real. It just has one brand name. So first create content. First create something real, something true, something for people to believe in, something people can gravitate towards, something people can take away. Then put your brand on it. Khatam. Branded content ho gaya. But वैसा बनाओ. I mean, do it in that manner. And I see today another sort of trend, which is related to what I was saying about branded content, and it's this thing called the social experiment. It's a new thing. Everybody wants to sort of dabble in social experiment. So we've seen it. A lot of brands have done their version of a social experiment quite successfully. We have appreciated, applauded all this. I feel that somewhere with us, maybe in India, all the work that I've seen on social experiment is like it's untrue, it's not done well, it's not, it's done for the shoot. It's not done. Those are not people there actually being interviewed or being put questions to or being interacted with, none of that. And it's so glaring and so obvious that they've done this for the video, man. And how does that work for the brand? Like, you do something untrue, people can see it, because people now see naturalness, people can see candidness so clearly. And when you're glaring and doing this sort of social experiment videos, I think India cannot do naturalness. And I know why we can't do naturalness. I think, because naturalness actually, like organic stuff, costs more money, right? If you want to actually capture something natural on video, you have to spend on it, right? You have to actually get people, you have to engage like a nice place, you have to let them do the thing that they want to do. You have to roll the video and roll and roll and roll till you find that magical moment in that video and then do. That's what the social experiment is about. But we can't do it because we can't afford it, right? Because somewhere we have been, this little budget is for the social experiment, go and do it, and if it turns out well, we'll run it, okay? But that little budget is also such a big pressure on us because within that little budget, actually Glitch is doing 10 videos for the client. Sorry, is Glitch here? Oh, sorry, okay. Oh, whatever, So that much pressure is being carried by that social experiment video. I mean, it's bound to fail because everybody's in a big hurry. They want it for the award. They want it for some other purpose. They want it, to go on the social media and create a ruckus. It's not real. If it was real, it would have cost. It would have probably cost you more than the TVC that you have approved. So I feel we should junk at least social experiment till we can afford them in India. I also want to talk like a consumer because I think there's a huge obvious mistake that we are making today. So we are in the era of targeting. Today everybody wants to target, and I don't know whether this is relevant for this forum, but I like to sort of rant on this, so I'm going to say. So we are using tools and algorithms and tech and AI and whatnot, and we want to sharp target somebody. You should really know who you're talking to. Your message should really reach that correct person, and I am that person. A lot of people are trying to target. So I am at the receiving end of all these messages, which is sharp targeting. And I feel like I'm in the crosshairs most of the time because it's so obvious that I am being targeted, right? If I look for a lounge chair by mistake for some reason, the fuck? The fucking lounge chairs get after me, man. Everywhere I go, the lounge chair follows me. It's behind my ass. It wants to sit me down on itself. Every little screen that I interact with, everywhere I go, I feel this lounge chair is after me. It's doing something to us, I think, as consumers. This behavior, this feeling. You don't want to feel targeted, right? From any brand, from any work, from any category. You don't want to feel targeted. But all of us today are feeling targeted. I'm giving a very simple example. But, the moment the moment you get a sort of promotion, or you become, falan somewhere, somebody makes note of your designation, man, and they start like, sending you investments and premium houses and apartments and things like that. Man, it's naked. I feel exposed, I feel naked with this kind of targeting, and frankly, it's a huge invasion of my privacy. I don't want to be seen. I want only my family members to know. I don't want this corporate world to know that I have, like, done something big in life and I now come and chase me, I hate it. So I get, I feel that when brands were background noise, it was much better, When you're growing up with Tandurusti Ki Raksha somewhere in the background, it's okay, it's good. It's not telling you that I realize that you sickly fellow, you weak person, you need, health or something, and that's why this red soap. It doesn't make you feel like that. It's just somewhere, growing, somewhere happening, somewhere you're hearing it, and over time, the thing sneaks into your consciousness, and it becomes a brand. And we are behaving exactly, in the wrong way today. All of this sort of data, digital, everything is, I feel, going against the complete rules of branding. It's good for selling. I think selling is okay, Selling is one-to-one. You go in front of somebody, I want a mobile phone. ठीक है, sell it to me. Now I'm in front of me. Target me, tell me whatever you want. Profile me, do whatever you want with me. Sari बेचने के लिए, सारी shop में गया, okay, cool. That's one-to-one, that's selling. I don't know if marketing should make this so obvious. If marketing should sort of sell in this manner. And if we can't do it in this medium, which is a straight, individual, personalized sort of medium, then how will we do it? I mean, that has to evolve, right? We don't know how to do it today. We don't know how to make a message feel like it's not a message just for you, or we think that it's great that this message is just for you and you'll feel great about it, but actually you're not going to feel great about it. So we got to evolve a different way, I feel, to do this. And, they say that, just a little point more than this, just bear with me about this video or this box that, however much you scroll, trying to escape that box, that bloody box pops again, You go to a link to escape it, it pops there. You try to do so that, somewhere it can't catch up with you. The moment it stops, the bloody box pops up again there. This is bad behavior. This is bad behavior from the box. And the box actually is transferring the annoyance that I feel towards the box, towards the brand that is sitting in that box. So they used to say that, medium is the message, behavior is also the message. This bad behavior that brands do today is going to become the voice, it's going to represent the brand, and it's going to sort of make you feel something towards the brand just by the behavior of the box, not what is said in it also. So that's another, annoyance. So I want to talk about this tech thing, and we've seen now that last 10 years have belonged to technology, and all of us have fallen prey to the sort of devices Technology is so beautiful, right? It lets you play with it, it lets you enjoy it, and there's something novel happening all the bloody time with this, right? So, in some way, technology, digital stuff, these are all toys. And we, in marketing, and branding and advertising, we are, acneyed sort of teenagers, with technology. So we jump every time something happens, every time something new happens. Oh, we're going to use data in this new way. Fuck, damn good. We'll fall for it, Oh, this is the way to, reach consumers today and do this. We're like these teenagers. We get so excited by technology, by digital, by data. All these things are exciting us too much. We are over-enthusiastic. We are going for it like anything, and I think we are stumbling, we are falling. Because we have not evolved. We have not evolved, because craft cannot evolve as fast as technology. Technology is synthetic, it's artificial. Craft means expression, talking to people. That cannot keep pace. It needs to develop. It takes time, and we are not able to do it. And because we are not able to do it, I think we are failing, and we are making people realize that we are failing. I think we should slow down a little bit. Take it a little cool. Pay more attention not just to what is developing, but also how to evolve our way of expressing things. We're doing too little of that. We are being too direct. We are being too obvious. That's what I feel. So in this why can't you be more of a lady? I want to come to this. But roughly, how not to be obvious was the sort of, if it was not obvious yet, but that was the sort of, thing that I wanted to talk about. I have a little video. It's one of my favorite videos, actually. I don't watch too much video. I don't know what is developing in this world and everything. But I feel that this little clever thing that Burger King pulled off some time ago, maybe, all you guys must be watching it, or have seen it, but I just want to play it, please. So, how to not be obvious, I feel there's a lesson here. I just love the fact that all they did was they liked 3 tweets of some other, era, and that got all this free publicity for Burger King. And of course, without people realizing it, right? This guy actually created this video on his own. He's an influencer, a huge influencer apparently, on YouTube. He created this video. He acknowledged that he got manipulated, and he acknowledged that he loved being manipulated. And he gave Burger King everything that, that they sort of, I don't know whether they thought that this would happen, but it happened so sort of organically and naturally. So, I just like this one example. I want to end with something that I recently read. It's a book that was gifted to me by Subbu. He's our head of strategy. And, he goes to all these fancy places all over the world, and he just sits in bookshops. So last time, like very recently, he was in Boston, and he sat in a bookshop. That's all he did mainly, right? And he picked up this one book. It's called The Alphabet versus the Goddess. I don't know if you guys know. Anil knows the book. Yeah. And what the book roughly, I'll have to read this because, I want to get it right. And what the book roughly, espouses is that the printed word resulted in usurping the dominance of the matriarch, the feminine, the goddess, and paved the way for the masculine to take over. It's something like the fact that the alphabet made sequential processing, which a man is better at, more useful, more relevant, rather than image processing, which apparently a woman is superior at. And that is one of the greatest sort of contributors to the fact, to the growth of the fiefdom of men all over the world. So if you can get the book, it's really good. You'll have to be a little patient with it, but it's called The Alphabet versus the Goddess. And why I'm quoting this today is that I guess with this, digitalizing, it's somewhat related to that whole thing, the alphabet thing and the digitizing thing today. I feel that this digitizing, this data-driven thing that we are all going, in pursuance of, we are making thinking binary, thinking logically and factually more of a go-to tool than the artistic, the imaginative, the lateral. So, and I feel that, this hardening of us, the more masculine we are becoming because of all this, we are losing this little thing, the artistic thing that we feel, the vagueness, the niceness, the sort of expressions and imagery that we had. And somewhere we are losing the feminine sort of side. We are going more and more masculine and less feminine. And so I want to say that we need to awaken the feminine within us. And if we can do that by getting more women to think for us, then that will be great too. And so that's why, I want to say that to the industry, to the marketing fraternity of today, is that why can't you be more of a lady? Thank you, everybody.